Hello guys, this is Nick with Phone Arena, bringing you an in-depth review of the Acer Iconia W511. This is one of those fancy Windows 8 hybrid tablets. What that means is that while the device can be used by itself as a tablet, it is also compatible with a hardware keyboard. You can have this one bundled with the Acer Iconia W511 or buy it separately for an extra $100. The two snap together and what you get is a lightweight notebook that you can carry around with you throughout the day. As far as specs go, the display is 10.1 inches in diagonal and the processor powering the device is an Intel Atom clocked at 1.8 GHz. So is the Acer Iconia W511 any good? Let's find out. So here it is, the Acer Iconia W511. Nothing fancy about its design. The tablet is made of plastic, that matte boring kind to be more specific. So yeah, it cannot really make you go wow with its design. But on the bright side of things, it's quite light for a 10-inch tablet. It weighs 580 grams, meaning that it's one of the lightest 10-inch tablets you can find. That makes it relatively easy to hold and operate. Now let's take a quick look around the sides of the device. Here on top, we see that mandatory 3.5mm headphone jack, a button that locks the screen's orientation in place. The power key is in the corner. And here on the right side, we have the built-in microphone and a 2-button volume rocker. All of these hardware buttons are very well exposed and easy to operate, by the way. Here we see the micro HDMI output and the micro USB port for connecting USB devices to the tablet, a micro SD card for storage expansion, and a SIM card slot. So yes, the W511 actually works with cellular data. A built-in speaker on the right and a built-in speaker on the left. On the bottom side, we have the openings that connect the tablet to the keyboard dock, and in the middle we see a proprietary port. The Windows key underneath the display is of the capacitive kind, and while we are generally okay with that solution, it is kind of prone to accidental presses if you choose to hold the tablet from underneath like this. Having a decent physical keyboard is not the only reason for pairing the Acer Iconia W511 with its keyboard dock. In addition to a keyboard, the dock also adds a built-in battery which actually doubles the battery life of the tablet, meaning that it will last throughout a day of heavy usage on a single charge. With the keyboard dock, you also get a full-sized USB port to which you can connect all kinds of USB peripherals. A wireless mouse, for example, or a USB thumb drive. That micro USB port on the side of the device has to be used with a special cable that comes included in the set. You hook it up like this and then you can connect another USB device to the tablet. Both of these USB ports can be used simultaneously, by the way. Tapping on this physical keyboard reminds us of the days when netbooks were still popular. At first, the keys feel small and cramped together, but eventually your fingers will get used to their size and positioning. Of course, the hardware keyboard is a lot more comfortable than using that on-screen virtual keyboard. The touchpad, however, is something we aren't happy with, and that has nothing to do with its size. It's just that after being used for about 20 seconds or so, for some reason it totally loses the ability to register our input properly, so the mouse cursor starts moving wherever it wants. Another thing that Acer should have paid more attention to is the docking mechanism. While the keyboard and the tablet separate and dock back together easily, the mechanism that's supposed to keep them tightly in place just isn't tight enough, so the tablet moves back and forth when it's docked. The hinge on the dock is very sturdy and rotates at an up to 300-degree angle, so you can use the Iconia W511 in what Acer calls presentation mode. This is very useful for those times when you want to show off your work to someone, or you simply want to take a look at some photos, or you want to enjoy a movie. You like that. The screen on the Acer Iconia W511 has a diagonal size of 10.1 inches. Its resolution is 1366 by 768 pixels. That's pretty low by today's standards, but typical for low-end Windows-based tablets. Due to the low resolution, Small text might be a challenge to read, but it's good enough for most common tasks. As for the viewing angles and color accuracy, the screen actually performs well. It's of the IPS LCD kind, so its quality is actually superior to what you'd get if you purchase a low-end notebook of such size. The display's brightness output is pretty decent, so using it outdoors is possible, although you will have to cover it occasionally with your hand. With the Acer Iconia W511 you get Windows 8 Pro, which is the full-fledged version of Windows. That means that it can run both applications that you get from the Microsoft Store and your legacy apps, the legacy apps that run on Windows 7 or even earlier versions of Windows. The interface, the modern UI that's in Windows 8, is optimized very well for touch-based input with its live tiles that are large and easy to press. Also, there are many gestures implemented in the system, gestures that allow you to switch between opened applications or to access certain menus. New users, however, will have to get used to these. The good thing about it is that while the system is booting for the first time, a tutorial is played explaining all the new gestures that are in Windows 8 interface. The old-school Windows desktop is also accessible at the press of a button. This is where you access your legacy applications from apps that aren't optimized for Windows 8 yet. Unfortunately, its interface is a bit uncomfortable to use on a touchscreen, so we recommend using it only when the dock is available. What we have here is the on-screen virtual keyboard that comes with Windows 8. For an on-screen keyboard, it's quite comfortable. It can be used either like this, occupying the bottom half of the screen, or in split mode, which is definitely more comfortable when you're holding the tablet with both hands. Of course, it can be used like this in landscape mode, or like that in portrait mode. We must also note that Acer has implemented its always-on technology with the W511. What that means is that emails and social networking updates are synchronized even when the tablet is on standby, meaning that as soon as you turn it on, your new messages and emails will be right there waiting for you. Providing the Acer Iconia W511 with processing power is a dual-core Intel Atom chip clocked at 1.8 GHz. It's also paired with 2 GB of RAM, which is about as much as we'd expect on such a device. Performance-wise, the tablet runs well. You will rarely encounter any major hiccups as long as you stick to the modern interface, but even in desktop mode, chances are that you will rarely encounter any slowdowns. Just don't expect any heavy applications to run smoothly on such a low-powered device. The Intel Graphics Media Accelerator is powerful enough to run some basic games. We tested some popular titles from the Windows Marketplace, including a 3D strategy game which ran at decent frame rates. Graphic-intensive games, however, are a no-go. As any other Windows 8 tablet, the Acer Iconia W511 comes with Internet Explorer 10, which is a very capable web browser. It supports Adobe Flash, it can run Java applications, and it's very fast in general. On top of it all, it's optimized for touch input, so you can use pinch-to-zoom gestures. However, although you can install alternative browsers such as Chrome or Firefox, those aren't optimized for touch input and don't support such gestures, which makes them rather uncomfortable to use on a tablet. There are two cameras on the Iconia W511. Above the screen we have a 2-megapixel front-facing camera with pretty average performance. It's okay during daytime, but when shooting in low-light conditions, there's quite a lot of digital noise present in the frame. On its backside, we have an 8-megapixel camera with autofocus and an LED light to help out with those low-light situations. Again, its performance is average at best. There's some digital noise present in the shot, and the fine detail is noticeably missing. Still, the image quality is okay for taking photos that are gonna be used for nothing more than just posting them on Facebook or other social networks. In the multimedia department, the W511 comes with the same set of apps that you'd see on other Windows 8 devices. Here we are at the Xbox Music Hub, which is actually less of a music player and a lot more of a place where you buy new music from. It has a wide catalog, but it's pretty limited in terms of music playback functionality. Sure, it comes with a free online streaming radio and will automatically sync the music that you have in your music folder with its library, but it's very limited in terms of features. We would really wish that the music player was built in a different manner. The Xbox video player is organized in a similar manner. It allows you to rent or purchase movies from its catalog. It will sync with its library all the video files that you have stored in your documents, but we noticed that it struggles with playback of 1080p videos. The default Windows Media Player, which is available in desktop mode, however, does a much better job. With its 3540 mAh battery, the Acer Iconia W511 will last for up to 9 hours at a time, which is about as good as a high-end Android tablet or an iPad. When it's docked, its battery life doubles to 18 hours on a single charge, which is very good indeed for a tablet powered by an Atom processor. Overall, the Acer Iconia W511 would be a decent choice for those looking for an affordable Windows 8 tablet or for people who just aren't willing to spend a whole lot of money on one. It may not be pretty, but it's light, it's affordable, it offers a decent set of features, and its performance should be adequate for users who aren't too picky. Moreover, you get the full-fledged Windows experience with legacy app support and all that good stuff. But while it's an okay Windows 8 tablet, we can't really recommend it as a notebook replacement. Something in the back of our heads is telling us that its build quality isn't as good as it should be, while the touchpad is plain unusable at times. In case you're looking for a productivity device, you better look elsewhere, or better yet, get yourself a proper notebook. This is Nick with Phone Arena. Thank you for watching our review of the Acer Iconia W511. For more information about it, just visit our website phonearena.com.